Hello folks, this is Pierre-André Mathieu, and I'm here today with a tutorial in setting up a hit system that is different from the previous hit system in which I have built, and I'm going to show you just how I'm going to do it. Before I do that, I want to show you a little something. This plugin is called Did It Hit Trace Detection plugin. It has 3 methods of tracing: frame, skip, and possible tracing options. It can trace up to 3 different ways to cover all the gaps, which is very fitting. You can buy that now in the Fab Marketplace. That being said, let's get started, shall we? Okay. I'm gonna play this. My weapon has no hit trace. What I need is to set up a damage system that allows me to hit the enemies with the current weapon. In order for me to do that, I'm gonna have to click on the Ed tab, click Plugins. I'm going to search for Did It Hit, which is right there. If you bought the Did It Hit plugin from the Fab Marketplace, I suggest you install that to whatever version of Unreal Engine you use, albeit Unreal Engine 4 or Unreal Engine 5. Then after you install it, what you see here, if it has no check mark, click on it. After you click on it, this tab on the down red side is asking you if you want to restart your project installing the plugin. So you have to click yes if you want to have this system within your project. And once you've done that, it's going to restart, and it'll take a few minutes or so to restart your project. After that, you can move on doing whatever it is you're doing with the plugin you're going to use. Alright, now let's put our new plugin to good use. I'm gonna go to my folder, but before I do that, I'm going to go to data table, click on melee weapon data table. Then on the weapon setup, I'm going to set it is melee weapon visible to false. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to set the hit in system. Okay, I'm gonna stop. The reason why I set it to false is because I want to set up the did it hit component to the character blueprint in itself for the player character and enemy to be able to use that component to damage each other. To do that, I'm going to go to character template and open character blueprint. So this is what I originally have, so I'm going to delete this in order to make way for the new component. I'm gonna rename this to hit trace, because that's exactly what I'm going to be using. And I'm gonna go to the player character first. Open the ninja character. What I'm going to do, okay, first things first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up hit variables. Then I'll use the mesh as the primitive target. The actor target should be the character itself. Then, holding the F key, I'm gonna left click to bring for each loop. From the loop body, I'll use print string and connect the array element to in string. Clicking on the hit trace, I'm going to check mark the other two, and the inclusion string filter I'm going to type in is DIH. I'm going to be using capsule trace, no, not capsule, sphere trace, and set the sphere trace to 60. As you can see, you can do a lot of editing within this stuff. I could show you, but I'm not going to waste time. But what I can show you is how I set objects to hit. So I'm gonna change this to world dynamic, hitbox, and character repel. Those are the only three I need at this point. Okay, since I type in DIH, which is an abbreviation for did it hit on the inclusion string filter, it'll only make sense that I'm going to use this to build a socket for each and every bone that the skeletal mesh will use to fire up the hit trace. Like this, for instance. I'm going to add a socket. Paste it. And before I move on, it's best if I can copy this. That. that's pretty much it. I'm gonna play it to see if it works. Yep, I got those down. The next thing I'm going to do is go back to third person, open blueprints, open my file, and I'm going to go to Anim Notifies, Anim Notify State, hitboxes, and set hitbox, because I know that it has an error. That's because I deleted my original hit system, so I'm not going to be needing that anymore, and neither will I need these. What I'm going to use instead is the toggle trace check. I'm going to set it to true. I'm going to copy it, and on the end part I'm going to use this and set it to false. Let's see if it works. Yeah, I may have put it a little too big, but I want to see if it works. Doesn't seem to hurt the enemy. That's because I need an item added. I'm going to first break hit result, then add a print string, let's see if it works. Yep, it does work. Now let's do it in real time. To a variable, rename it mini AI blueprint. Extract that. Get is invincible. Add unique. I'll bring out modified hit data. Select. Get trigger active. Multiply the damage by 1. If the trigger's active, I'll multiply 2.5. I'm going to extract that and get hit. For the hit data, I'll use modified hit data. For the damage causer, I'll use the player character, and for the hit result, I'll use last item. how it works. It does work. Only once. That's because I need to clear a little something. Okay, I'm going to get team, switch on int, I'm going to cast to player. I'm going to use enemy, and I'm gonna clear. To be honest, I'm not sure if that works, but I'll see. And it does work. Next thing I'm going to add is a little extra stuff. I'm going to extract a node from modify hit data and break hit data. Then I'm going to extract a node from hit stop, and I'm going to set hit stop time. I'm going to extract a node from the enemy and set hit stop time. I'm going to right click and get player camera manager. I'm going to extract from the return value and start camera shake. this. I'm going to add burst. Multiplication. What I'm going to multiply is the damage. I'm going to select a float. I'll multiply the damage by 1 since I'm not using a trigger. But if I am using the trigger, the damage multiplies nothing while in this state. And by trigger I mean rage mode. Whatever you guys want to call it. Anyway, I'm going to add style. I'm going to get player controller. I'm going to use recent player techniques. Last index. I'm going to get a copy and connect last index to this index of get recent player techniques, and I'll use this to add the index for a style. For the scale, I'll use the damage to scale how much style I add. Second to last will be the hit detected, and it's going to be useful whenever you want to count how many hits you landed on the enemy, or whatever effects the player will use, albeit a fire effect or an ice effect or a lightning effect, if you want to add certain magic to it. But I'm not going to get into that right now. The last thing I need is the spawn emitter at location. What I need is the hit spark. Then for the location and rotation, I'm going to extract more data and use location to connect this. Then from normal, I'll connect it to the rotation to have the rotation from the X vector. Now that I have everything set up here, I'm going to highlight this. Color red blue because normally blue symbolizes the player character. although that's not always the case. Well, it is the case for most games, but not entirely. Anyway, now that I have everything set up, I think it's time I put it to the test. There we go. Alright, now that I have the player hit trace, I'm going to do the same for the enemy hit trace. I'm gonna go to enemy folder, open enemy blueprint, and I'm going to add on item added. First off, I'm going to go to player. I'm going to copy these. Then I'm going to break hit results. The hit actor should be the player character, or in this case, ninja character. Then I'm going to paste it. do what I did with the player character. One last thing, I'm going to promote it to the variable. Go back to the hitbox and use enemy AI blueprint, convert to pure cast. I'll use player character, organize that, and we'll see how it works. The enemy doesn't seem to be causing damage to me because I have not added the sockets based on the, well, based on what I have here. So I'm going to copy these, and I go to the mannequin and paste sockets. Let's see what I have here now. Yep, it's working. I'll move on into setting up the damage system for the weapon. In the melee weapon data, I set is melee weapon visible to true to have the player wield the melee weapon again before I go about setting up the damage system for the melee weapon. Now, going inside construction script, this is where I'm going to do most of my magic here, figuratively speaking. Extracted static mesh from cast to master melee weapon and use that as the primitive target, and the actor target should be the master melee weapon. but that's only true if the melee weapon is visible. So to reinforce that point, I'm going to set is melee weapon visible to true, add branch, then from here I'm going to bring for each loop, set up a print string, and before I do that, I needed to go to master melee weapon. Actually, not master melee weapon. I need to go to melee weapon data table, search for the katana, and add 2 sockets based on, say, the inclusion string filter. So I named it DIH, aka did it hit, on that inclusion trace filter. So it should be used before I name any of the sockets within my weapon. Socket number 1 is DIH bottom blade. Socket number 2 is DIH top blade. So let's give it a test to see how it works. I can see the DIH top and bottom blade, but for some reason it's not working. I wonder why. I think if I go to master melee weapon, I can add a did it hit trace from there. But I'm not sure if this is going to work. Yep, it still works. But just to be sure, oh, I have the duration. So let's see if it really works. I think I see why. I'll need to have an am notify state. I'll duplicate this and rename it to melee weapon trace. This I'll check. Yeah. I'll use melee weapon. Copy this and paste. The next thing I'm going to do is go to the data table, go to combo, and set up a melee trace. That. Let's see. Now I have a trace. copy this. Let's see. There. Next thing I'm going to do before I go any further is to set the hit data I don't really have that. But I know exactly what to do. I'm just going to copy all this. Add on item added. Break hit results. And paste it. Actually, I don't need that. What I'm going to do is promote these to a variable one by one. So I'll use this. Just one more thing. since I have this array, I'm going to extract it from here. Why not? Let's see how this works. Yep, it works. But wrong sound.
Locked on.
Didn't mean that.
Locked on.
Yeah, that's what I need. See how it works. There we go. And that's how I set up a damage system for the melee weapon by using Did It Hit Trace. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for future tutorials regarding this, and remember, what you take and learn from me is yours to do with as you see fit. Peace out, and enjoy the rest of your day.